All right, it's DR.Cliff here for Pet Talk 360, and I'm having the pleasure of meeting and talking with the dog whisperer, the famous Mr. Cesar Millan. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great. The biggest question, first off, you had a great choice in picking Canadian Tire as the Canadian branding agent here in Canada for your new product line. I guess it's either Tim Hortons or Canadian Tire that you're going to deal with, right? Those are pretty much the two Canadian products around here.
Canadian restaurant.
There you go. That's right. Coffee for dogs.
Mexican style.
Oh, very good. Yeah, with a little tequila in it, maybe. So you came out with this new dog product line. So tell us a little bit about it. Why is it so great?
Well, to me, the most important part is how can I maintain people focused on what I teach, right? Exercise, discipline, affection, calm, assertive energy, nose, eyes, ears, who you are in the animal world is energy. So magazines, books, television shows, seminars, products is also a way of keeping people, keeping in mind, that how to play with the toys. Often, the way normally I have seen people use the toys is, just you want to play, go, get the ball. So it's a very excited way of being, and the way I approach.
It can almost cause anxiety, even.
Excitement, anxiety, aggression is not a problem. Aggression is a symptom, right? An excited dog can bite. And so often a dog, they practice too much excitement, it becomes not the most social dog in the dog park. Right. Or at the beach or whatever that person want to take them. So to me, it's an extension of what I practice. How to feed the dog is, you don't say, you want to eat? You just bring the scent and the dog comes to it. He follows you around. You make sure until he relaxes, then you put the food in the ground. So it's all about is to maintain a lifestyle. Right. So why I have a certain relationship with dog, because I maintain a certain lifestyle. So to me, when a person sees the product, is to remember what they watch on TV, what they read on the book, and so it's just to maintain this consistency. Right. Things, Right. And I make sure that my pack agrees with it. It's pack proof.
It is, yeah. I see that Wolf Pack tested. What you kind of test it out, make sure your guys like it, like to play with it.
I really take in considerations, how the pack takes the product. Obviously the nail clippers, I have to introduce it the same way with everybody else. But the balls, how they, how a pit bull and a Rottweiler and a German Shepherd and a Jack Russell, how he feels about being with a collapsible ball. Right. Things like that. I mean, things that I think like this. The nose game, you made it a ball earlier, and it's how I play with it that is very important for me. Right.
I was kind of checking out some of these products online. I definitely, the flying squirrel toy is probably one of my favorites. I think that was a really cool idea.
Well, one of the things that we do that we encourage people not to euthanize a dog, spay and neuter, right. Not to work against Mother Nature, to honor Mother Nature. So, being ecological friendly is respecting Mother Nature. Right. So my family, my kids, my brother, we are very conscious about that. So how can we utilize whatever we have available and make it a product? Right. You know what I mean? So that way we can influence next generation. I'm a father first and foremost, so I want to, as a businessman, I want to say, look, we can do business by being ecological friendly. Sure. And maintaining a certain integrity with the product. Yep.
In terms of your using some of your toys for training, how do you think it's a very important part to have toys that will help training, or do you think that you can train without toys?
Well, I'm from Mexico. We don't have pet shops in Mexico.
The pet shop's the corner down the street.
We just go get a stick from a tree, But to find what a dog gets motivates him or inspires him. Right. So not all dogs are toy driven. Right. Not all dogs are food driven. So the point is to find what motivates your dog. And so. Yeah, I'm very simple, very basic. It's toys, it's treats, it's balls, it's beds, it's leashes, it's things that people need to use.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Day-to-day
It's
use.
basic stuff.
Yeah, to care for their
To care for the
pet.
dog, to challenge the dogs. You know, to me, it's about challenging the dog to fulfill their needs, right? Dog training is conditioning, sit down, stay calm, heel. Often I work with dogs who sit down, stay calm and heel, but they want
Right.
to kill another dog.
Right.
So dog training to me is not dog psychology or rehabilitating a dog. So it's two different worlds. A dog that is balanced doesn't mean it's trained, and a dog that is trained doesn't mean
Right.
it's balanced.
Right.
Right. So I work with dogs who belong to the police department and they want to kill another dog.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're super trained. You tell them sit down, stay calm, or in German or in French,
Yeah.
and the dogs do it. But as soon as they see a dog next to them, he wants to kill them. So it's two different things. Training.
And you focus on both. You both on the sort of emotional health and the socialization as well as the training.
First is the fulfillment.
Right.
Because and then a
Make 'em-
dog that
make 'em happy.
exercise, rules, boundaries, limitations. He has direction. Then what can I do for you, right?
Right.
So once you trigger calm, submissive state, you can train a dog easily,
Right.
right? He's giving you eye contact.
Yep.
Then you bring food. It's like, what can I do for that? Then he start giving you positions. Then you start giving the name to those positions.
Right.
But to me, first thing is to gain the trust and the respect.
Right.
Then it's easy for me to do the conditioning.
Yeah.
So growing up in Mexico, we never teach a dog to sit down, stay calm, heel. You know, you're never going to see a person on a farm teaching a dog sit, stay. You don't do.
Right.
I grew up with my grandfather who died 105 years of age. He never said sit. You know, o siéntate in español. It was three sounds that he used. It's for a dog to come,
Yep.
for a dog to drop or stay or whatever he has, leave it or stay away from it, and which is if he's far away. Those
Yeah.
were the three sounds.
That was it.
And often the dogs didn't even have a name.
Yep.
But then we had a pack of dogs, and they all understood this concept.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then I watched Lassie Rin Tin Tin. That was a trained dog. And
Yeah.
I thought all dogs in America were like Lassie Rin Tin Tin. Surprise!
No.
They were dragging Americans all over
Right.
the place, you know, to the point that I saw, at one point I saw a person holding onto a tree. So they can hold onto a dog so another person can pass by with a dog.
Right.
You know, so that was unusual for me.
What would you recommend? DR.Cliff here is rated the top vet in Canada. So do you often deal with vets in terms of how they talk to their clients with new puppies, new kittens, or even dogs that come in that have aggression problems? How could you teach a vet? That's the big thing.
Well, I think an open-minded vet, right, will see the
That's a hard one to find.
right.
That can
That's
be a
why I
hard
said
one to
open-minded.
find. Yes.
Just like an open-minded trainer, right?
Yeah.
It's no ego in it.
Yep.
I walk a pack of dogs. So in school, they don't teach vets to walk packs of dogs,
Right.
right? Especially without the leash,
Right.
right? And so once a vet sees that I'm capable to do this, they get curious.
Yep.
So if the mind is curious and open-minded, I can teach a vet, a psychologist, a psychiatrist,
Yep.
presidents of the United States, Oprah,
Yep.
movie stars. Because in the animal world, who you are is energy. They don't know what you do for a living.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So often, in my experience, vets understand the anatomy of a dog, but they don't understand the psychology of a dog. You know,
Right.
and they really don't have enough time to gain the trust. They have 10, 15 minutes
Yep.
to give a dog a shot or to examine the dog. And by the time the dog is on the table, the dog is shaking.
nervous and
You
upset.
know what I mean? Now the vet is coming towards the dog. I have 15 minutes. I have more dogs to see. So it's a little bit of rush there. So I
Yeah.
can give a different perspective, different. I was a kennel, not a kennel. Yes, I was a kennel boy once, but I was also
You
a
did
vet,
grooming as well,
vet
right?
tech.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't call them vet techs in
yeah.
Mexico.
Oh, okay,
It's, el ayudante del veterinario. But I was the one who held the dog to give the shots.
Right.
Because the vet was afraid the dog was going to bite him.
Right.
You know what I mean? He
Yeah.
would rather put a muzzle on it and say, no, I can do it without it. I was 13 years old. I was just, you're holding horses, you're holding cows, you're holding
Yeah.
sheep, you develop this way of being.
Now, you obviously have a special way with dogs that you're able to, quote unquote, whisper to them and
Gain the trust.
yeah. Is that something that can be taught though, or
Yes.
is there a real talent to it?
Well, I think the talent is when you walk up 50 dogs,
Right.
But one dog, I think anybody can
Yeah.
should be, right? It should be able to gain the trust of their dog.
Hopefully,
It's
especially
just-
their own pet.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but you have to be able to see them in a certain order. You know, my
Right.
clients see it this way: name, breed, their daughter.
Right.
Right? So when Oprah invited me to her show, she said, Cesar, this is Sophie, Cocker Spaniel, my daughter.
Right.
Right? And then I have to put it in a perspective which animal, species dog, breed, name.
Right.
You see it? It's
Yeah.
a different way to get to them.
And the issue is, I guess, is there's a lot of articles and sort of comments out there right now about how we're anthropomorphizing these animals. We're turning them into people. We're giving them, we're dressing them up in fancy clothes. They're living in purses.
Right.
You know, the Paris Hilton type dogs. And do you find that's a worrisome trend?
I think it's a trend. Yeah, it's definitely a trend. But at the same time, I am very careful about it because this is a way of the human fulfilling himself. A lot of people
Right.
are professionals
That's
and
true.
they don't want to have children,
Right.
but they want to fulfill that biological need and that
Right.
emotional need. But what I suggest is do not prioritize your need first. Let the dog be a dog. Grant the dog his
Right.
business.
Be a dog
Then
first.
you can make him whatever you
Right.
want. You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
do not make the human priority, because then you enter into a selfish relationship
Right.
where it's all about the human, what the human wants.
Yeah.
You know, and then a human becomes or enters into a denial mode. No, I'm very loving to my dog.
Yeah.
It's not me.
And they think they are. They just
I know.
don't realize that they're actually hurting them by not letting them roll around in the pile of leaves or, you know, run through the forest or get dirty. You know, they want them to be this cute little perfect pristine animal.
You know, in the horse world, people love horses being horse.
Right.
Right?
That's a good point.
But there is love.
Yes.
They're not trying to make the horse a human.
Right.
In the dolphin world, they allow them to be dolphin.
Right.
But somehow the dog have to be a human.
Right.
You know? So
Yeah, that's a good
the
point.
one who lives with us the most, the one who suffer with us.
In Ontario, where we are right now, there is a ban on pit bulls.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people say that they can't be trained. It's the owner. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, especially being from California?
Well, I just finished giving a tour in Europe, and in Switzerland or Sweden, they don't believe in banning breed.
Right.
They don't. They just adopt the philosophy. They're not going to ban breed. They're just going to make sure they educate people, right?
That's
And
a
the-
crazy idea,
Right?
Caesar. You're
Yeah.
crazy.
I know. But in the 70s, the breed that people were afraid of were Dobermans.
Right.
And in the 80s, 90s, you know, the Rottweiler. And the 2000 is the pit bull. So what we're seeing here is whenever a breed comes into fashion and we don't control the power, we blame them.
Yeah.
You see it? So in the 70s was a Doberman. Okay, we couldn't control them. Let's wipe them off.
Right.
Right? And let's create myth that when they become 5 years of age, they're going to turn into human. That's a myth.
Yeah.
You know, Rottweilers, then we created movies out of that. Oh, they're from the devil. You know? And now the pit bull, he can't unlock his jaw. But Petey from the Little Rascals was a pit bull.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing, the frustrating thing for Ontario veterinarians about that law is the provincial government never once asked to speak with the Ontario Veterinary Medical Association
Yeah.
to say, what's your opinion? And our opinion would have been, you know, we agree with the neutering and the spaying and
Education.
It's education. We need to educate. And,
Yeah.
and I've never been bitten by a Doberman, a Rottweiler, a pit bull,
powerful
any
breed.
of these dogs. I've been bitten many times by Chihuahuas,
Yeah.
Pomeranians.
Yeah.
There's Sandeep down sitting there watching. These little dogs are the ones that aren't being dogs.
Right.
You know, these people have
They get
have done
away
too
with
much
a lot of
fulfillment.
things.
Yeah.
They get
yeah,
away with,
definitely.
oh, he's little, don't worry.
Yeah. Oh, he's just frightened.
He's just frightened.
Which
He
is
doesn't
true.
feel good today.
There's part of it. Yeah, that's part of it.
There's a lot of excuses also.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
There's a lot
that's
of,
true.
They get
That's
away
true.
with a lot
And
of
people
things.
don't want to look at themselves and say, yeah, you're right, I haven't socialized my dog or trained my dog properly.
Or train myself.
Or trained yourself. That's true. That's true. What about cats? You ever going to do cat whisper? Or are they
No.
just like a totally different breed?
I think so. I think with a
They
different
are.
mind, right? I mean, it's more single-oriented. They're
Yes.
not pack-oriented.
Yeah.
I definitely use a lot of cats as an example.
Okay.
You know, because cats often control relationship cat-dog.
Right?
You know what I mean? It's only one, and the dog
Done.
is under control.
That's right,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
They're
So
the
what?
alpha.
That's it. It's who's going to lead the relationship. So that's just a lot of times people, I don't want to be the leader of the dog. Well, what do you think about a cat leading the relationship?
Right.
You're right. The cat
Yeah.
is leading but leadership, you know, is not a negative thing, and often is seen as a negative thing.
Right.
So the society, especially in America, they're very confused about words. You know, dominance, leadership, assertiveness. You know, it's like, but this is just in a state of
Makes them
mind.
scary.
How do
It's
you
like a
think
scary
Oprah
word.
became who she became?
Yeah.
Because she's a leader. How do you think Donald Trump? How do you think, you know, the people who just won the Stanley Cup? Because they were all in sync with each other, and
You
they
know that
followed
wasn't
the
a
leader.
Canadian
A lot of
team.
emails and people wanting to know the real Cesar. Away from the dog whisperer and away from that, the real you.
Yeah.
You know, we had an email from, it was actually from Boston, and someone wanted to know, what's your favorite baseball team?
I don't have a baseball team.
Don't have a
No, yeah, it's funny because Mexicans, we love baseball, but I love soccer.
soccer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm from the coast. where
LA
pretty much-
Galaxy?
No,
No?
Madrid?
no.
How about the Toronto FC? Toronto FC.
I
right?
love Toronto.
Toronto FC.
Other than soccer and other than pets, what the animals? What's your biggest passion? What makes you
Planting.
who you are?
Planting.
I'm a farmer. I have a ranch, you know, and the best thing I can ever have is a John Deere.
Oh yeah, the big tractor. Nice.
Absolutely,
Nice.
absolutely. I don't really care about a plane. A John Deere.
What would be your favorite?
I would dig holes all day long, move dirt.
So it's not even planting. You just like playing in the mud.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a guy thing. Being followed by
I think it is a
dogs.
guy thing,
It's a
yes.
guy thing. You can move mountains.
That's
you know?
right. Yeah, dig 'em up.
Faith in a John Deere can move a mountain.
A dirty guy is a happy
Oh
guy.
man,
I
my
guess.
hat and the whole thing. Oh no, that's
Nice.
that's you know, my grandfather had a bull, and we just go and dig a hole with it. So it's
Right.
the old-fashioned. And so he always look at a tractor, and he look at a tractor, and he just gaze on the tractor.
Right.
So you know, one day we get a tractor.
Yeah, I did promise a friend of mine who's a listener of our show as well, Matthew. He does dog rescue,
Yeah.
as well as sort of dog boarding and whatnot. And he has an 8-year-old rescued dog from Australia, a dingo cross that actually he took back from New Zealand. So a big dog. And now he also has a 5-month-old shepherd cross. And the 5-month-old, being a kind of a rambunctious, energetic
Yeah.
puppy, annoys this older girl, and
Yeah.
she gets to the point where she pulls back her ears, she growls, and she snaps at
Enough.
the air.
Yeah.
At what point do you? I often tell people that as my clients, you have to be cautious of that, but you don't want to always step in. You kind of have to let them work it out as long as they're not hurting each other.
Right.
Do you do sort of the same
Sure.
same behavior? You kind of let them figure it out, right?
I don't let him pass level 5 of intensity.
Okay.
So from 0 to 10, 10 is the worst, right?
All right.
But from 0 to 5, it's very manageable.
What would you say is 5?
Just the
Bite.
teeth.
Yeah.
Just the teeth.
So just doing the air,
Yeah.
doing the air, and you'll
That's
just
2,
let them
3.
do that.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
2, 3. Yeah, that's communication.
Right.
You know, it's
They-
like you
they've
and I
gotta
say,
work it out.
I don't want to do it. See, we got to communicate that.
Right.
You know, we can't communicate that.
Right.
Only in hockey.
That's right. That's true.
You're legally allowed to
UFC
punch
The
me.
UFC is pretty big here too now.
Oh, is it?
UFC as well. Yeah.
I just stay away from those.
You're not an MMA
Nah,
fan? No.
I don't. The only cage I go is with dogs.
Yeah. Now, do you find is there one breed that you find is more difficult to train than others?
Human.
Oh yeah, good answer.
Species, yeah, species. But you know, so human gets in denial. Human sometimes is not there for the pack. You know, they're not in a journey of being there for somebody else.
Right.
You know, not everybody is in the path of being there for the world.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The world means your family. You know, I'm not talking about the whole global world, but just your family. That's your world. Can you be there as a husband? Can you be there as a dad? Can you
Right.
be there as a caregiving of canine, as a caregiver of chickens? I don't care. Can you be there for them? Not everybody's in that state. Everybody's, what can I get from it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, come on, give me some. You know, so those are very difficult people to influence because
Right.
they don't really want to do what's best for the pack.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just very quickly, what would you say, just comparing your products to Canadian Tire to any other products on the market, why should people buy your products versus anybody else's products?
Well, the message, is a product that has a message, and with the understanding of creating balance. It's not just an impulse. I don't want you to go buy one of the products for an impulse. It's because you need it for a certain purpose, and then it has a reason. You know what I mean? I don't just walk a dog just to walk a dog. I walk a dog because it fulfills a need. I throw the ball because it fulfills a need. I give food because it fulfills a need. Everything has a very strong meaning. I don't do things halfway. I do things 100%, because that's how dogs live. I like to honor the way they live. That's the essence of it. If we can recover that, and then we can have an amazing relationship with dog, and then eventually we can have an amazing relationship with us, because we have to honor, a certain style of life. That's, to me, is the most important part.
Yeah.
And it all starts at Canadian Tire.
That's right. Very good. What's your favorite product on this new product line? What's your favorite item?
Well, I like the belt. It's very practical, As a guy, I don't like to have a big bulky thing in it, but I like to have everything around.
So this is like a dog walking belt that you're going to carry. That's going to have spot for your bag, spot your treats.
If you see the show, you see how I grab 10, 15, 20 leashes at once.
Right.
So I just like to put it right here on my waist, and so I can just pick up the poop.
Done.
Wait.
See you later.
See you
Finish
later.
Nice and clean.
Yeah, this is very practical. I like the practical part. Obviously, I'm
Like
very
everything,
happy
it
with
has a
everything.
function.
But the functionality, I'm a typical guy. Logical, functional, practical, simple.
Is that typical?
To me, it
think
is.
so.
Yeah.
I
We don't like complicated
I think
things.
half of the people in the world would agree with you, and half the people may not.
Well, then they complicate themselves.
That's right. That was sort of a male-female thing that I was getting at. I think all the men would agree that we're pretty practical.
I would do anything for a female. They don't have to
That's-
say anything.
That's because there's a function and practicality behind that. That's why.
I'm submissive, baby.